Overwatch in today's world is completely different from what Overwatch was 10 years ago from its release all the way back in May of 2016. Yeah, we that old now. The design principles the game have followed since then have completely changed. And that's completely normal, especially when a game changes lead designers and developers. But the change that has become more and more noticeable with every new patch and new hero is the increase in mobility and the focus on higher paced gameplay. New heroes nowadays come packaged with mobility off the rip, and old heroes receive new abilities and perks to help them keep up with these new heroes. And with the release of probably one of the most mobile heroes to date since Doomfist, let's ask the question. In this video, I'm going to discuss and try to answer the question of, is mobility creep really killing Overwatch? But before we get into it, I just want to remind you guys, hit that subscribe button if you fucking with the video. If you like this video, let me know what you think about it in the comments. What do you think about this topic? What do you think? This is a hot topic right now. We just got that mid-season with Vendetta, so mobility is clearly a hot topic right now, but let me know what you think in the comments and let's get into the video. Mobility creep is not a new subject in the Overwatch community at all. The switch from slower paced gameplay to faster paced gameplay is actually one that the devs intended and openly acknowledged when switching from 5v5 to 6v6. In Overwatch 1, the slow paced drawn out games are common, especially with 2 CP game modes and the infamous ghost meta. Games would regularly be based on who could build their ultimates first, and even if you had your ult, whether you could actually land a kill with it or not. Just look at this clip I'm going to show you guys from the Overwatch League back in 2019.
Now they're going to go ahead, straight in, streaming in, one after another. Great focus fire coming through here, applying maximum pressure to Gesture. He will be able to back off in time, however. The rally thrown in by Prophet. Guido's going to cancel that out with a trance of his own, trying to buy time for his teammates to get those support ultimates online. And now it's just a standoff. Who's going to crack first?
That's Birdwing's time to shine. He's going to get that grab on several words of follow-up there. It is not quite there. This is reminiscent of how London lost fights earlier. Just no follow-up on their big ultimates. Fury's going to actually toss it in and actually Fury eats Corey's grab. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's big. Grab gets eaten for the Justice, so no big follow-up there. But Genesis still got his trance. But he's got the Shatter as well. Throws that out, doesn't find a target. Doshin already had the trance going, so he doesn't care. He's keeping everybody topped up. Self-destruct thrown over the top, and it could find one. No, the shield is up for Janice. This is just still the standoff between both of these teams, but London with that sound barrier looking to end this fight. Shatter.
Such sustain. There's no one is dying anywhere on this. Birdwing's got another grab, the second into the fight. Gonna catch several again. Follow-up still not quite there. Transcendence able to keep him alive. And now finally someone dies, and it happens to be Prophet.
Ooh, the big wipeout. Washington, they held it for so long. The win is instant. And Washington Justice take the lead over the London Spitfire.
16 ults! 16! This is the highest level of play, by the way. This is the highest level of play. They were franchising this shit, bro. Even in this extreme of an example, though, it goes to show the pace of the game really needed to change from Overwatch 1. So with Overwatch 2, the focus on this change began, and it's now been 3 years since Overwatch 2 released, and 3 years of 5v5, and 3 years of this mobility and fast-paced gameplay focus. Since then, every character released has come packaged with some kind of mobility and mobility boosting ability. We've also received the addition of 2 new fast-paced game modes and the removal of the most drawn-out problematic 2CP game mode. But has the removal of an old problem created a new one? Mobility creep is debatably one of the better forms of creep to have. The majority of people who argue in the favor of mobility creep actually use this as a major talking point, since you'd rather deal with that than like sustain creep or damage creep, because nobody wants to kill nothing and nobody wants to just die off the rip all the time. It's more fun to be able to move. And I partially agree. Movement's fun. Mobility gives players the agency on how they approach fights in terms of positioning and aggression. Seeing how a top 500 player moves on Genji versus a gold is completely different. Just look at my buddy Bale. Look at this gameplay I'm gonna show you guys, bro. Supplementing the new game modes we're getting, new hero releases always come with some form of mobility in their kits. In fact, we are seeing some of the most mobile heroes in the game being released within the last 2 years. Here's a comparison between Overwatch 1 released heroes and Overwatch 2 released heroes, and how many heroes launched with some meaningful form of horizontal or vertical movement. Overwatch 1, there's like some good movement here. We got Echo, we got Ball, we got Moira, we got one in every category, and we got like Doomfist, Sombra. But then we also got some like non-mobile characters. We got Ana, we got Sigma, Orisa, characters that really just don't have any movement at all. Now let's look at Overwatch 2. And they all move! They all move. Everything moves, man. We got poke heroes with movement. We got brawl heroes with movement. We got dive heroes with better movement than base dive heroes. And they also don't die. And it isn't even about Overwatch 2 heroes at this point. Overwatch 2 reworked a bunch of OG heroes as well, like Bastion, who is in the transition to Overwatch 2 received changes that turned him from an immobile turret to a moving DPS cycling machine with rocket jumps. Bastion's a more direct example, but even heroes like Orisa are more mobile than ever before, even despite the fact that they're relatively still immobile. She has less movement speed penalty when firing, and she also got a javelin spin that acts like a defense matrix and moves her forward faster. And then perks got added on top of that. Now almost every hero in the game, well not literally, but a lot of the heroes in the game got perks that increased mobility. Heroes like D.Va got slightly more time on boosters, to Reaper TPing faster, to Genji legit losing 3 seconds on his dash. A lot of heroes have gone faster in one way or another. Matter of fact, here's a literal list that I've compiled of the current patch for current perks that increase mobility in heroes. I want to clarify though that real quick, that just because they have a perk that buffs their mobility doesn't mean they're going to take it. Tour players aren't taking the hammer perk. Like, that's just there for fun. Nobody's actually taking them. Unless you're like that. Sorry. But what's the purpose of showing all this information? I wanted to show how, on top of there just being a gradual mobility creep with patches as we go on, there is an active effort from the dev team to speed the game up. Everyone is faster, there's no real question about it. And it extends from slight changes in movement speed when firing to reworks, to new heroes, to new game modes. This new gameplay philosophy has found itself in all aspects of Overwatch. But this philosophy has problems. For one, giving characters more and more movement tools dilutes the game, in which characters that weren't designed to have movement are forced to receive movement tools just to keep up. Heroes like Hanzo, who previously had 0 lateral movement, are given tools to help them just keep up with the pace change. Like, how is Hanzo supposed to keep up with Freya? And 2, it removes individuality and the uniqueness of certain heroes with this skill expression, since once something is available in abundance, it's no longer special anymore. In Overwatch 1, for the majority of the game's lifespan, Lucio was the only hero providing speed boosts. But now in Overwatch 2, we're seeing more heroes being added that can provide speed boosts. Now, except in unique situations, instead of playing the only hero with that unique ability and that unique tool, it comes down to just playing the strongest hero during that patch that can provide that tool like speed boost. And it's not the only example. If you've played Overwatch for a really long time, you would remember the sentiment that Winston Leap was the best movement tool in the game. Koreans love this tool. They call it one of the best abilities in the game. It's an amazing engage, low cooldown, great burst damage with an animation cancel on the melee. But nowadays, besides pro play, Winston doesn't seem to be played that much. And that tool that used to be championed as one of, if not the best in its class, is now more so just a good tool in a plethora of movement abilities in the game. Or maybe I'm just salty because I play Winston. But what can be done about this creep? The Overwatch team has made it very clear that they want to stay on this angle, and it frankly is the right decision. No one wants to play 6 rounds 40 minutes of King's Row unless you play League of Legends and already like that long paced slow ass gameplay. Fuck League of Legends. But what can be done for the long term? Right now, Vendetta has been running Overwatch since her release, and is a prime example of mobility creep. But I don't think it's just the mobility that's the problem. It's the combination of mobility plus extra utility in the kits that makes it frustrating. Characters like Vendetta, Freya, and Wu Yang aren't just frustrating because they're fast. It's because they're fast on top of having fantastic utility and the damage to go with it. Wu Yang has movement speed on top of a self peel with a healing boost and an amazing buffle that he can use on himself. Vendetta has 2 dashes with a movement stopping sword slash and a power block. And Freya has some of the best poke in the game on top of 2 dashes and an updraft. All 3 have amazing damage output on top of all of what I just told you. Dealing no damage isn't fun, and it's how games end up in a sustained meta where nothing dies. I'm talking about a sacrifice in the character's utility. Take Ana for example. She's one of the most popular and most long-term enjoyable heroes in the game. She has consistently been strong and popular ever since her release in 2016. I remember it. She's been champion for years. But why? She has no movement. She's an easy target and has no mobility, but has some of the best utility to provide to her team. Whenever she uses that utility, she becomes a target as she sacrifices the chance to defend herself whenever her cooldowns aren't up. It's a fantastic gameplay balance that continues to hold up within the player base. Think about some of the strongest perk combos we've seen as well. Old Kiriko double TP perk, Reaper TP plus his long range shotguns. When Kiri TPs, she's supposed to be vulnerable. Going into Suzu a teammate and taking that risk is eliminated when she can just leave again right after. Reaper has always struggled with the mobility creep in this game, but that perk combo makes it so he just loses his weakness in range and can keep up with a faster TP. There needs to be more sacrifice when these heroes with movement come into the game, and that's been lost more and more as more mobility is taking on to existing heroes and new heroes release. Movement is fun and skill expressive. It's why the most popular characters in any game more often than not end up being the ones with the crazy movement tech. Being able to express yourself through your gameplay is a key way of keeping a game fun and refreshing, and how players can continue to feel their improvement. But there needs to be a balance. We need to maintain individuality and balance to keep a healthy gameplay environment. I don't think mobility creep at the end of the day is that big of a problem right now. There's always going to be problems that the Overwatch team needs to work on. Developing and patching a live service game is an ongoing project, which is why it's called a live service game. But that doesn't mean we can't be critical about these kind of things. Mobility is definitely one of the better forms of creep to have in a game. I'd rather have that than whatever Rivals is dealing with right now.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Can you play good?
Just hanging around.
But managing any kind of creep before it becomes a larger scale problem is important. Right now, the majority of people, myself partially included, are fine with a bit of mobility creep. But the problem needs to be addressed now before we start seeing Orisa spin around with a helicopter. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I just finished editing this. I was out of the country for a minute, but I'm back in Canada. You know I'm back. I'm eating this trash ass Tim's donut while I'm doing it and drinking this trash ass coffee. But that's how I know I'm back in my country, man. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments about this discussion. I feel like there's a lot to be said. If you got anything to add, let me know what you think I'm right on, what you think I'm wrong about. Whatever you think, just let me know. I read the comments all the time. Check out my social medias in the description, my Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Check me out on Twitch. We live fairly often around 6 to 8 p.m. MST start, playing Overwatch, all that type of shit, you know what I'm saying? But let me know what you think in the comments. Please hit that like, subscribe, like this video, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna see you guys next one. Check out the Twitch. Sprinkles.